This audiobook reveals the hidden magic of the universe and how it has always been speaking to you through signs, symbols, and synchronicities. As you listen, you'll begin to recognize the cosmic language that has guided your every step. The universe has been whispering all along. Now you're finally ready to hear it. Magic of Universe. Introduction. In the silence between your thoughts, something ancient begins to stir, a sacred memory older than language, older than time. It has drifted through forgotten temples, hidden in the chants of sages, woven into the very stars above you. And now, as these words echo within you, that eternal truth begins to awaken once more. You have felt it before, the unseen force that breathes life into dreams, that binds thought to creation, desire to destiny. It is not found in distant lands or secret rituals. It lives within you, pulsing through your every breath, whispering through the quiet rhythm of your heart. The universe has never been silent. It speaks in the delicate language of signs, symbols, and perfect moments. Every detour, every delay, every miraculous alignment has been part of a divine design, drawing you back to your true self. What you once called coincidence is the universe calling you home. You are not apart from this cosmic intelligence. You are its voice, its hands, its expression made manifest. Each thought you cradle, each feeling you dare to feel, reshapes the very structure of existence. This is not imagination. This is the sacred architecture of reality. The veil is thinner than you've been taught. One breath of intention, one heartbeat of awareness, and it lifts. You are not learning something new. You are remembering the sacred inheritance you've always carried, the power that moves galaxies now rising in you. This is your return to the truth. The universe has waited patiently, holding open the doorway to your divine remembrance. And now, you step through. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. Awakening to the Cosmic Dance. Chapter 1. The Moment of Recognition. In a distant valley where mist clung to ancient stones, Eleanor wandered through winding paths worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. Exhausted from her journey, she rested against a weathered wall covered in ivy. As she closed her eyes, a gentle breeze carried the scent of flowers, and when she opened them again, she found herself at the entrance of a hidden garden. Within this sanctuary, flowers of every hue swayed in perfect harmony. As thoughts of joy filled her mind, golden blooms burst open before her eyes. When uncertainty crossed her thoughts, white lilies unfurled their petals. Each shift in her consciousness was mirrored in the garden's display until she realized this magic had surrounded her all along. Every garden she had ever walked through had been responding to her inner state, but only now could she see the dance. The universe speaks first in whispers, then in revelations. You have been creating your reality since your first breath, orchestrating a grand symphony through the power of your consciousness. What appears as chance, the perfect timing of a meeting, the book that falls open to exactly the page you need, the song that speaks directly to your heart, these are the visible threads of an invisible tapestry you have been weaving. In a quiet town, Thomas kept shop among hundreds of timepieces, their steady ticking marking the hours of each day. One morning, as he sat at his workbench, an odd sensation drew his attention. The rhythmic sound seemed different, somehow more alive. As he placed his hand over his heart, his eyes widened in astonishment. Every clock in his shop, from the grandest grandfather clock to the smallest pocket watch, beat in perfect synchronization with his own heartbeat. In that moment, Thomas understood that time itself was not rigid, but fluid, responding to the consciousness that observed it. Like Thomas, you have been unconsciously conducting the symphony of your existence, the rhythm of your life, its pace, its flow, its very nature, has always aligned with your inner state. Now, as awareness dawns, you can begin to direct this orchestra with intention. The ancient practice of synchronicity recognition. For one full day, carry with you a journal dedicated solely to this sacred purpose. As you move through your hours, notice 3 moments where reality seems to echo your thoughts or feelings. Record these synchronicities in detail, not merely the events themselves, but the thoughts and emotions that preceded them. In the evening, sit in quiet contemplation and reflect on how these coincidences reveal your role as a conscious creator. This practice opens your eyes to the constant dialogue between your inner and outer worlds, strengthening your recognition of the creative force you naturally embody. Chapter 2: The Ancient Whisper. In the sun-baked ruins of an ancient temple, Margaret brushed away centuries of dust from what appeared to be an ordinary bronze mirror. As she lifted it from its resting place, the surface shimmered with an otherworldly gleam. When she gazed into its depths, her own reflection dissolved, replaced by visions that stirred something deep within her soul. She saw herself, yet not herself, standing atop a mountain, commanding storms with a gesture. Another image showed her healing with a touch, while yet another revealed her speaking words that transformed barren deserts into lush gardens. These weren't mere fantasies. They carried the weight of memory, of knowledge long buried, but never truly lost. Within you dwells this same ancient knowing, a sacred remembrance of who you were before the world taught you to doubt your power. This wisdom flows through your veins like liquid gold, whispering truths that your heart recognizes even when your mind resists. You have walked this earth countless times, wielding creative forces that would astound your current self. The noise of the modern world, its doubts, fears, and limitations, has merely muffled this inner voice, like dust gathering on an ancient mirror. Yet beneath these layers lies the pure, untarnished truth of your being. You are, and have always been, a conscious creator of reality. In a distant village, Samuel discovered an aged stringed instrument in his grandmother's attic. Though he had never seen it before, his fingers found their place upon its strings with uncanny familiarity. As he played, melodies poured forth, songs of creation, of healing, of transformation, music he had never learned yet somehow knew by heart. Each note awakened memories of a time when he understood the symphony of the spheres, when harmony was not something to be achieved but simply remembered. Just as Samuel's fingers remembered these celestial melodies, your soul remembers its true nature. The power to shape reality isn't a skill to be acquired, but a birthright to be reclaimed. Every cell of your being holds this knowledge, waiting for you to still yourself enough to hear its song. The sacred practice of ancient remembrance. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Place your hand upon your heart, feeling its steady rhythm. Take 3 deep breaths, allowing each exhale to carry away the world's noise. Then, with eyes closed, ask the ancient whisper within, "What wisdom do you hold for me today?" Stay in this sacred silence for 5 minutes, letting words, images, or feelings arise naturally. Whatever emerges, write it in your journal without questioning or analyzing. This practice removes the barriers between your current self and your eternal knowing, allowing ancient wisdom to flow once more through your conscious awareness. Chapter 3: The Call to Awakening. In the hushed corridors of an ancient library, Rebecca noticed something peculiar. Books that she needed seemed to appear precisely when her thoughts turned to specific questions. One evening, while contemplating her life's direction, she found the path of transformation mysteriously placed on her desk. The next day, while wrestling with a difficult decision, ancient wisdom for modern choices had somehow migrated to eye level on a previously empty shelf. The library appeared to be alive, breathing with an intelligence that understood her deeper yearnings. Each book that found its way to her carried exactly the message her soul sought, though she hadn't known to look for it. Through this dance of synchronicity, Rebecca discovered that the universe itself was orchestrating her awakening. That restless stirring you feel in your quiet moments, that divine discontent that whispers of something more, is not a flaw to be corrected, but a sacred call to awakening. The universe plants these seeds of transformation within you when you are ready to expand into greater awareness of your creative power. This inner knowing that life holds more than what you currently experience is the first light of dawn, breaking through the darkness of limitation. Every moment of dissatisfaction is actually a blessing, a cosmic nudge guiding you toward your next evolution. The universe speaks through this holy restlessness, preparing you to receive the full magnitude of your creative force. In a small village, William tended his garden with devotion, yet something extraordinary began to occur. Roses bloomed in winter, vegetables grew in intricate patterns that matched the designs he'd sketched in his private journal, and plants thrived in soil that should have been barren. The garden seemed to be expressing his innermost dreams, manifesting the visions he held in his heart, but had never spoken aloud. Like William's garden, your entire existence responds to the awakening force within you. The universe arranges circumstances, encounters, and opportunities that align with your soul's readiness for transformation. What appears as coincidence is actually the cosmic dance of creation, responding to your expanding consciousness. The sacred practice of calling forth your awakening. As the sun begins its descent each evening, create a sacred space by lighting a candle. In the gentle glow of its flame, speak aloud 3 areas of your life where transformation calls to you. Voice these with clear intention. I open myself to transformation and name each area. Then with hands raised to the heavens declare, Great Universe, show me signs that support my awakening journey. Make your guidance so clear that my soul cannot fail to recognize it. Sit in silence for several minutes, allowing the universe to receive your invitation to transformation. Chapter 4. The Language of Signs. In a small town by the sea, Catherine sat at her workbench, threading patterns into fabric that flowed beneath her skilled hands. One morning, she noticed something extraordinary. The spiral design she had just stitched into a wedding dress appeared in the steam rising from her tea. Later that day, the same pattern emerged in a flock of seabirds wheeling overhead. As days passed, her creations seemed to echo throughout her world. The intricate lattice she embroidered on a christening gown appeared in morning frost on her window. The flowing curves of a ceremonial robe manifested in the way crowds moved through the marketplace. Each design she brought into being, through thread and needle, rippled outward, as if the universe itself took delight in reflecting her creations back to her. The language of the universe flows through every moment of your existence, speaking in symbols and synchronicities that weave through the fabric of your daily life. These are not random occurrences, but letters in an eternal alphabet, a divine conversation between your consciousness and the infinite intelligence that surrounds you. Numbers that repeat, animals that cross your path, words that catch your attention, these form the sentences of cosmic communication. The universe speaks not in thunderous proclamations, but in subtle whispers, gentle nudges, and elegant patterns that reveal themselves to those who learn to perceive them. In a bustling city bakery, Henry discovered that his bread held messages meant only for him. When he struggled with a difficult choice between two paths, his sourdough rose in a perfect fork pattern. As he worried about financial matters, his challah formed the shape of abundance symbols from ancient traditions he had never studied. Through flour and fire, the universe offered him guidance, showing him that answers arrive not through mental strain but through attunement to the signs that surround us all. Just as Henry's bakery became an oracle of wisdom, your world brims with divine messages waiting to be recognized. Every synchronicity serves as a signpost, every recurring symbol a celestial telegram delivering precisely what you need to know in that moment. The sacred practice of reading universal signs. Select one question or challenge that seeks resolution in your life. For 7 days, maintain vigilant awareness of signs and synchronicities that may relate to your inquiry. In a dedicated journal, record any recurring numbers that appear on clocks, receipts, addresses, symbols that draw your attention in nature, art, or daily life, and meaningful coincidences that feel significant. Note the time, place, and your immediate intuitive interpretation of each sign. Through this practice, you begin to master the sacred language through which the universe guides your path. Chapter 5. The Mirror of Reality. In the golden light of dawn, Dorothy adjusted her camera lens, preparing to capture the sunrise over the mountains. As she developed her photographs later that day, she noticed something extraordinary. The morning's images revealed not just the landscape, but layers of light and shadow that perfectly matched her inner state. In photos taken during moments of joy, golden rays danced through the frame, while shots captured during passing thoughts of doubt showed subtle storm clouds gathering on the horizon, though the sky had remained clear. Your world operates as a living mirror, reflecting with perfect precision the state of your inner being. Every person you encounter, every situation that unfolds, every circumstance that manifests serves as a reflection of your consciousness. This mirror never lies, never distorts, but shows you with unwavering accuracy the vibration you hold within. When you understand this truth, you realize that changing your external reality requires no manipulation of outer conditions. Instead, transformation occurs naturally as you shift your inner landscape. The universe responds not to your words or actions, but to the frequency you broadcast from within. Along a windswept coast stood a solitary lighthouse where Charles maintained his nightly vigil. Over time, he observed a mysterious pattern. On evenings when peace filled his heart, ships gilded safely through tranquil waters. But when worry crept into his thoughts, the seas grew choppy and distress signals increased. Eventually, he realized that the maritime conditions mirrored his own emotional weather with perfect precision. Like Charles at his lighthouse, you stand at the center of your reality, broadcasting a signal that shapes the experiences sailing toward your shore. Your consciousness serves as the beacon that determines what manifestations will navigate their way to you. The Mirror of Consciousness Practice. Select 3 current challenges in your life that seem most pressing. These difficulties that weigh on your heart, you know, the ones that keep you awake at night, you think to yourself. For each situation, write down what inner belief or emotional pattern it might be reflecting. Yes, these shadows within must be brought to light, you realize with growing clarity. Close your eyes and imagine releasing the old pattern, replacing it with its opposite. Like a snake shedding its skin, you can feel the old beliefs beginning to fall away. Over the next week, observe how external circumstances begin shifting in response to your inner transformation. The universe is always watching, always responding. You remind yourself with quiet certainty. Record in your journal any changes, no matter how subtle, that mirror your shifted consciousness. For in these gentle whispers of change lies the profound truth of your power you understand deeply. Through this practice, you will witness firsthand how the universe serves as your faithful mirror, always showing you the truth of your inner world through the precise reflection of your outer experience. Chapter 6. The Frequency of Desire. In the dim light of her radio room, Evelyn's fingers danced across the dials, searching for distant signals through the static. One evening, as thoughts of starting her own business filled her mind, the radio suddenly caught a clear transmission, a successful entrepreneur sharing exactly the wisdom she needed. Each time her heart yearned for something meaningful, her radio would mysteriously tune to voices offering precise guidance for that desire's fulfillment. Your desires arise not from the shallow waters of want, but from the deep wellspring of divine intention. Each longing that stirs within your heart serves as a sacred frequency, broadcasting directly from your higher self. These are not random wishes, but carefully coded messages guiding you toward the experiences your soul has chosen for its evolution. When you honor these desires, when you acknowledge them as divine GPS coordinates, you align with the universe's grand design for your expansion. Your deepest yearnings act as spiritual homing beacons, drawing you toward circumstances, people, and opportunities that serve your highest good. In his workshop filled with delicate instruments, Franklin crafted compasses with extraordinary care. Yet something peculiar began occurring. Customers reported that their compasses pointed not to magnetic north, but toward the fulfillment of their heart's true calling. A musician's compass pointed to an undiscovered music school, while an aspiring healer's instrument led to an ancient manuscript containing forgotten remedies. Franklin came to understand that genuine desire serves as humanity's most accurate navigation system. Like Franklin's mystical compasses, your desires serve as divine instruments of navigation. Each longing that arises within you points toward an aspect of your unlimited potential waiting to be discovered. These are not mere wants to be dismissed or denied. They are sacred coordinates programmed into your soul's GPS, leading you toward experiences that will expand your consciousness and contribute to your spiritual evolution. The Sacred Desire Alignment Practice. Find a quiet moment and take out your journal. Without judgment or censorship, write down your 5 deepest desires, those longings that whisper to your soul in moments of silence. For each desire, look beyond its surface appearance. What feeling or quality of experience does it represent? A desire for wealth might truly be a longing for freedom. A wish for recognition might mask a deeper yearning for self-expression. Each day, dedicate 5 minutes to sitting in peaceful contemplation. Close your eyes and allow yourself to fully embody the feeling of each desire already fulfilled. Experience the sensations, emotions, and expanded state of being as if your desires have already manifested. Let this practice serve as your daily attunement to the sacred frequencies of your soul's calling. Chapter 7. The River of Abundance. In a small village among rolling hills, Grace tended her watermill with practiced care. Each morning she watched the river's steady flow turn her wheel, transforming grain into flour for the village. Yet something extraordinary began occurring. The mill produced far more flour than the water's flow should allow, defying all natural laws. At first, Grace questioned her measurements, checked her records, and examined every gear and stone. But the truth remained. Abundance flowed through her mill like an endless stream. The universe operates through the eternal principle of abundance. Like water seeking its own level, prosperity naturally flows toward any vessel prepared to receive it. You need not create abundance, for it already exists in infinite supply. Your task is simply to remove the barriers, the thoughts of lack, the beliefs in limitation, the fears of unworthiness that dam its natural flow into your experience. These dams of doubt were built stone by stone, each limiting belief placed carefully across abundance's endless stream. Yet just as water eventually finds its way through any obstacle, prosperity seeks expression through every open channel. Your role is not to force or struggle, but to gently dismantle these barriers, allowing abundance to flow as naturally as a river, finding its course to the sea. In a distant land, Oliver spent his days digging wells, seeking water beneath the earth's surface. He noticed a curious pattern. The life-giving waters invariably appeared at precisely the depth he anticipated finding them. When his heart knew with certainty that water lay 30 feet below, there it would be. If he believed the well needed to reach 50 feet, the water waited at exactly that depth. Through this, Oliver understood that abundance responds to expectation, revealing itself according to one's faith in its presence. Like Oliver, with his well-digging tools, you stand upon fertile ground, rich with potential. The depth at which you discover abundance's flowing waters depends not on external circumstances, but on your innermost beliefs about its availability. When you know, with unshakable certainty, that abundance is your natural state, it reveals itself with the same reliability as water responding to Oliver's expectant spade. The ancient practice of abundance flow. Each day perform 3 sacred acts that align you with abundance's eternal flow. First, give something of value to another, whether material or intangible, knowing that giving opens the channel for receiving. Second, speak words of gratitude for 7 specific blessings already present in your life, acknowledging abundance's current expression. Finally, close your eyes and visualize yourself as a clear channel through which abundance flows freely to others, knowing that what flows through you also flows to you. Chapter 8. The Power of the Present. In a time-worn workshop filled with the gentle rhythm of ticking clocks, Harold crafted timepieces with extraordinary precision. One day, while meditating on the nature of time itself, he created something unprecedented, a clock that displayed only the present moment. No hands moved across its face. Instead, it emanated a soft glow that pulsed with each breath of now. As Harold worked with this unusual timepiece nearby, he noticed that his abilities transcended all previous limitations. Watches that once took days to repair now came together in hours. Intricate mechanisms that had baffled him for years suddenly revealed their secrets. When his mind ceased its wandering between past and future, the impossible became effortless. The present moment holds within it the seed of all creation. It is the only point where consciousness interfaces with the material world, the sacred intersection where thought transforms into reality. While your mind may drift to memories of what was or dreams of what could be, your power to shape existence resides solely in this eternal now. When you scatter your attention across time, regretting yesterday or worrying about tomorrow, you dilute the potency of your creative force. Like a light beam dispersed through a prism, your manifestation power weakens as it spreads across moments that exist only in thought. But when you gather your consciousness fully into now, like a lens focusing sunlight into a single point, the heat of your intention becomes strong enough to ignite transformation. In a garden touched by morning light, Rose discovered this truth through her beloved flowers. She had always tended her plants with care, but one spring she began an experiment in presence. Instead of planning future arrangements or remembering past blooms while she worked, she poured her entire being into each moment with her garden. As she touched each leaf and stem with complete attention, something miraculous occurred. Plants that normally took weeks to flower began blooming in days. Seeds sprouted before their time, and even the most delicate blooms showed unprecedented vigor. Through her living laboratory, Rose understood that presence accelerates creation. Just as her flowers respond to the fullness of her attention, every seed of intention you plant grows more rapidly when nourished by the sunlight of your complete presence. The ancient practice of present power. Choose one simple daily activity, perhaps sipping tea, taking 10 mindful steps, or following 3 complete breaths. For 10 minutes, immerse yourself totally in this action while holding one clear intention in your heart. Let your entire being merge with this eternal moment, knowing that here, in the sacred now, your creative power reaches its peak. In this space of pure presence, watch as the seeds of your desires quicken their journey from possibility to reality. Chapter 9, The Art of Allowing. In the heart of an ancient studio, Alice stood before an imposing block of marble, her tools gripped tightly in frustrated hands. Day after day she attempted to force her vision into the stone, yet each strike of her chisel felt like a battle. The marble seemed to resist her will, cracking in unexpected places, refusing to yield the form she desperately sought to create. One morning, exhausted from her struggle, she simply placed her hands upon the cool surface and grew still. In that moment of surrender, something extraordinary occurred. She began to feel the flow of patterns within the stone, as if the marble itself whispered the secret of its inherent form. As she followed these natural lines and formations, her chisel found harmony with the stone's own structure. The masterpiece emerged not through force, but through partnership with the material itself. This sacred dance between intention and surrender mirrors the deepest truth of manifestation. You are indeed a creator, blessed with the power to envision and initiate. Yet the universe, in its infinite wisdom, holds perspectives far beyond your limited view. It sees connections you cannot imagine, orchestrates synchronicities you could never arrange, and understands timing in ways your human mind cannot grasp. To manifest with grace requires the wisdom to plant your seeds of intention firmly while releasing attachment to the exact manner of their blooming. The universe knows pathways to your dreams that your logical mind could never conceive. When you trust this higher intelligence, miracles unfold through unexpected channels. George learned this truth upon the vast waters of the sea. A skilled sailor, he prided himself on conquering the waves through sheer determination. Yet one transformative journey taught him the futility of fighting the wind. After hours of exhausting struggle against contrary breezes, he surrendered to their flow, adjusting his sails to work with rather than against these natural forces. He discovered his vessel moved swiftly toward his destination through cooperation rather than control. Like George, you stand at the helm of your life's journey. Your intentions set the course, but forcing your way through resistance only depletes your energy and slows your progress. When you learn to align with the universe's currents while maintaining clear focus on your destination, you harness forces far greater than your individual effort. The practice of graceful creation. Choose one area of your life where you've been forcing outcomes through rigid control. Write down your clear intention for what you wish to create, then consciously release your grip on how it must manifest. Each day, take 3 deep breaths and affirm, I trust the universe to bring this to me through pathways of grace. Notice what unexpected doors begin to open as you allow the cosmic intelligence to work on your behalf. Chapter 10. The First Awakening. In the hushed halls of an ancient museum, Victoria moved silently among glass cases filled with artifacts from civilizations long past. Each evening after visitors departed, she would study these treasures, fragments of pottery, sacred texts, ceremonial objects, all carrying whispers of forgotten wisdom. One night, as moonlight filtered through the skylights, she noticed something extraordinary. Every artifact, regardless of its origin or age, seemed to pulse with the same message. Humans once knew their true power. The Egyptian hieroglyphs spoke of consciousness shaping reality. Mesopotamian tablets described humans walking among gods. Greek vessels depicted mortals wielding divine abilities. The revelation struck her with stunning clarity. These weren't merely historical records, but mirrors reflecting a truth she had always carried within. The magic she had spent years studying wasn't separate from her, it was her very essence. You stand now where Victoria stood, at the threshold of remembrance. The stirring you feel is not new knowledge being acquired, but ancient wisdom awakening from within. You are not a limited being learning to become powerful. You are a powerful being remembering who you have always been. Like a sun that has been temporarily hidden behind clouds, your true nature as a conscious creator has never diminished. It has simply waited for this precise moment of recognition when the veils of forgetting would begin to lift and your divine capabilities would stir from their slumber. Arthur, a master mapmaker, discovered this truth through an unusual phenomenon. Each map he crafted with careful precision began to alter the very landscape it depicted. Mountains shifted, rivers changed course, and forests expanded or retreated according to the lines he drew. At first, he questioned his sanity, until he realized a profound truth. His consciousness was not merely recording reality, but participating in its creation. Just as Arthur's maps shaped the territory they represented, your thoughts, beliefs, and expectations have been silently molding the landscape of your experience. Every circumstance in your life reflects a map you have drawn, consciously or unconsciously, with the infinite power of your being. The practice of awakening. Find a quiet moment alone with a mirror and a blank page. Write a letter to yourself that begins, "I now remember who I truly am." Let the words flow naturally, acknowledging your divine nature and infinite creative power. Stand before the mirror, meet your own gaze, and read your declaration aloud. Feel each word resonate with the truth of your being. This is not a pledge to become something new, but a recognition of what has always been true. Part 2, Dancing with the Divine, Chapter 11, The Architecture of Thought. In the sprawling metropolis where Edward practiced his craft, strange whispers began circulating among his fellow architects. Buildings were appearing overnight, magnificent structures that seemed to materialize from thin air, each one bearing his unmistakable style. What puzzled observers most was that these buildings matched, down to the smallest detail, the designs Edward had only imagined but never committed to paper. At first, he dismissed these occurrences as coincidence. Yet as more buildings manifested, each one a perfect reflection of his mental blueprints, he could no longer deny the truth. His thoughts were becoming physical reality with unwavering precision. This revelation unveils a fundamental truth about the nature of creation. Your thoughts are not mere fleeting shadows in your mind, but powerful architectural plans that the universe follows with exacting detail. Each thought you entertain becomes a cornerstone, each belief a foundation, each expectation a load-bearing wall in the structure of your experience. The universe operates through precise laws of mental construction. When you think a thought repeatedly, you are essentially submitting a blueprint to the cosmic contractor. Your persistent thoughts become the detailed specifications from which your reality is built. whether those specifications call for a palace of possibilities or a maze of limitations. In a small village known for its intricate textiles, Beatrice sat at her loom each day, watching in amazement as her tapestries revealed a curious phenomenon. The patterns emerging in her work weren't just random designs, they were exact replicas of her thought patterns from the previous days. When her mind had been filled with circular worries, her tapestries showed spiraling motifs. During periods of expansive thinking, her weaving expressed patterns of growth and abundance. Through her work, Beatrice discovered that her mental habits were creating consistent patterns, not just in her tapestries, but throughout her entire life experience. The way she thought about money appeared in her financial situation. Her thoughts about relationships emerged in her social connections. Her beliefs about possibilities manifested in her daily opportunities. You are, in every moment, weaving the fabric of your reality through your patterns of thought. Every mental habit creates a corresponding pattern in the tapestry of your life. By becoming aware of these mental designs, you gain the power to consciously choose the patterns you wish to weave into your experience. The ancient practice of mental architecture. For 7 days, observe your thoughts as a master architect would examine building plans. Categorize each recurring thought as either a building thought that constructs your desired reality or a demolition thought that undermines your dreams. In your journal, identify 3 persistent negative patterns and consciously replace them with empowering alternatives. This practice reveals the blueprints of your current reality while allowing you to draft new plans for the life you wish to create. Chapter 12. The Alchemy of Emotion. In her small workshop among winding streets, Florence worked with essences and oils, creating fragrances that captivated the senses. One morning, while grieving a profound loss, she noticed something extraordinary. The rose essence she distilled carried not just the flower's aroma, but the very essence of healing she desperately needed. Those who wore this perfume found their own grief transforming into acceptance and peace. Through countless experiments, Florence discovered that her joy created fragrances that lifted spirits, her peace crafted scents that calmed troubled minds, and her love produced elixirs that opened hearts. Each emotion she experienced became the vital force that transformed simple ingredients into powerful agents of transformation. This revelation mirrors the most potent truth of manifestation. Emotions are not merely feelings to be managed, but the sacred fire of creation itself. When you infuse your thoughts with emotional energy, you activate the ancient law of alchemy, the power to transform the intangible into tangible reality. Your emotions are the difference between lifeless dreams and vivid manifestations, between static intentions and dynamic creations. Just as a thought without emotion remains merely a possibility, a seed without water cannot sprout. Your emotional energy waters the seeds of your intentions, nurturing them into full expression. This is why 2 people can hold the same thought but create vastly different results. The difference lies in their emotional charge. In a village known for its metalwork, Theodore discovered this truth through his forge. When anger filled his heart, the metal beneath his hammer became brittle and sharp, forming weapons that could only destroy. But when he worked with purpose and joy, the same fire, the same metal, and the same hammer created tools that built homes, plowed fields, and served life. Through his craft, Theodore learned that emotion determines whether the fire of creation serves or destroys. The heat of his forge never changed. Only the emotional energy he infused into his work determined its final form and purpose. Like Theodore's forge, your emotional fire holds the power to craft either limitations or possibilities. The same emotional intensity that can forge chains of fear can also shape keys of liberation. The difference lies not in the strength of the emotion, but in your conscious direction of its power. Ancient practice of emotional alchemy. Each day, identify your most challenging recurring emotion. Spend 5 minutes in sacred practice. Place your hand on your heart and breathe deeply. Allow yourself to fully experience this emotion without resistance, then consciously transmute it into its higher vibration. Transform fear into excitement, anger into determination, grief into appreciation. Feel this transformation in your body as you continue breathing deeply, knowing that you are mastering the sacred fire of creation. Chapter 13. The Cosmic Web of Connection. In a small telegraph office at the crossroads of an ancient trading route, Penelope sat before her equipment, fingers poised to relay messages across vast distances. One quiet evening, her machine began tapping out messages meant for other operators, yet each one spoke directly to the questions weighing on her heart. A message about delayed shipments taught her patience during her own period of waiting. News of a wedding in a distant city arrived just as she questioned her own path in love. Through these mysterious intersections, she realized that the universe speaks through seemingly random channels, weaving individual stories into a tapestry of collective wisdom. Your consciousness operates within this same intricate network. Every thought you birth, every emotion you nurture, travels through an invisible web that connects all points of creation. This quantum field knows no boundaries of space or time. It carries your intentions across oceans, through years, beyond the limits of what your physical senses perceive. When you truly understand this principle, you recognize that isolation is an illusion. Your thoughts never remain private. They ripple through the cosmic web like waves across an infinite ocean, touching distant shores you cannot see. Each feeling you experience sends vibrations through this network, returning to you amplified by the countless hearts it touches along the way. This truth manifested for Clarence, who maintained his lighthouse on a rocky peninsula. Night after night, he tended his beacon, never seeing the ships he guided. Yet letters arrived from captains who had found safe harbor guided by his light from hundreds of miles away, in conditions where his beacon should have been impossible to see. Through these mysterious testimonies, Clarence learned that the influence of conscious action extends far beyond physical limitations. Like Clarence's lighthouse, your consciousness casts its beam across the universe. The love you feel for a child ripples out to touch all children. The peace you cultivate within reaches hearts in distant lands. The joy you express joins the eternal dance of celebration that circles the globe. You are never truly separate from any part of creation. Your consciousness is woven into the very fabric of existence. Ancient practice of cosmic connection. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and envision golden light emanating from your heart. For the first 3 minutes, direct this light toward someone you deeply love, feeling the connection between you strengthen. Next, spend 3 minutes sending this light to someone who challenges you, knowing that beneath all differences lies the same universal consciousness. Finally, for 4 minutes, expand this golden light to embrace all beings everywhere, every person, animal, plant, and particle of creation. Feel yourself as a radiant node in the infinite web of consciousness, both giving and receiving the light of universal awareness. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Rhythm of Receiving. In the fertile valleys of an ancient land, Mabel tended her fields with a wisdom passed down through generations. Each morning she would pause before her garden, gazing at the moon's position in the pale dawn sky. Over time, she noticed that seeds planted during the waxing moon sprouted with vigorous life, while those sown under the waning moon often struggled to break through the soil. Through patient observation, she learned that success lay not in forcing growth but in moving in harmony with nature's own rhythms. The universe operates through sacred cycles of expansion and contraction, action and rest. Just as the moon waxes and wanes, just as the seasons flow from one to another, your manifestations follow a divine order of timing. There are moments ripe for planting new intentions, when the soil of consciousness is most receptive to fresh possibilities. There are periods meant for nurturing and tending, when gentle attention allows your dreams to take root and grow strong, and there are times designated for harvest, when the fruits of your spiritual labor naturally emerge into physical form. Forcing manifestation outside its natural rhythm creates struggle and resistance. When you learn to attune yourself to these cosmic cycles, you discover that timing itself becomes your ally. Each phase serves its purpose. The dark moon offers space for reflection and renewal, while the full moon illuminates the path of active creation. Walter, a gifted composer, struggled for years to create music on demand. He would sit at his piano for hours, trying to force melodies that refused to flow. One day he began noticing patterns in his creative energy, certain times when music poured through him effortlessly, and others when silence was what his soul required. As he learned to honor these natural rhythms, his music transformed. Instead of fighting against creative drought, he used quiet periods for listening and gathering inspiration. When the tide of creativity returned, he rode its waves with joy, producing compositions of unprecedented beauty. Like Walter, you possess your own unique creative rhythm. By observing your natural cycles of energy, inspiration, and rest, you align yourself with the cosmic dance of manifestation. Your dreams unfold not through constant pushing, but through graceful partnership with divine timing. Sacred practice of rhythmic creation. For one complete lunar cycle, maintain a daily journal of your energy patterns. Note the moon's phase and your corresponding states of being. When inspiration flows freely, when you feel drawn to action, and when you need rest. Use this understanding to plant your intentions during your peak creative phases and allow gentle incubation during quieter times. This practice reveals your personal rhythm within the greater cosmic dance of manifestation. Chapter 15, The Temple of Gratitude. In a temple among ancient hills, Cordelia moved with reverence through her daily duties. Each morning she would tend to the sacred objects, cleaning, arranging, and most importantly, offering her heartfelt appreciation for their presence. She noticed something extraordinary begin to unfold. The more deeply she expressed her gratitude for each item, the more these objects seemed to radiate with divine power. The simple brass bowl she had polished countless times began to fill itself with fresh water each dawn. The meditation cushions seemed to adjust themselves to provide perfect comfort for each seeker who sat upon them. Even the temple bells would ring with perfect timing, calling exactly who needed to hear their song. Through this experience, Cordelia understood that gratitude was not merely an attitude, but a force that awakened the sleeping divinity within all things. When you approach life with genuine gratitude, you activate a sacred frequency that resonates with the highest vibrations of the universe. This is not mere politeness or casual thanks. It is a profound recognition of the divine presence flowing through every experience, every object, every moment. Gratitude transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary by revealing what was always there, the miracle hidden within the mundane. Like a master key that opens every lock in an ancient palace, gratitude grants you access to chambers of abundance you never knew existed. It reveals that what you thought was empty is actually full. What you believed was broken is perfectly whole, and what you dismissed as common is actually sacred. Norman, a merchant in a small trading town, discovered this truth in his own way. His shop was modest, filled with everyday items, pots, fabrics, spices, and tools, yet something shifted when he began approaching each customer with genuine appreciation for their presence. He started seeing beyond their simple requests to the deeper needs of their souls. As he expressed authentic gratitude for every interaction, his shop transformed. People began finding exactly what they needed, often before they knew they needed it. A woman seeking a cooking pot would discover one that sparked memories of her grandmother's kitchen. A man looking for rope would find the perfect thickness to finally build the swing his children had been dreaming of. The shop became a sanctuary where everyday objects carried extraordinary blessings, all awakened by the power of Norman's gratitude. The Gratitude Temple Practice. Choose a special corner or space in your home to become your sanctuary of appreciation. Spend 10 minutes each day in this space, offering genuine thanks for both the blessings you can see and those still unseen. Express gratitude for what is and what is yet to come. Watch as this daily practice transforms your entire living space into a temple of miracles, where every object and every moment carries the potential for divine revelation. Chapter 16, The Guardians of Reality. In the grand halls of an ancient library, Millicent noticed a peculiar pattern emerging. Day after day, she observed how visitors found, or failed to find, exactly what they sought among the towering shelves. A young artist who believed in unlimited possibility would discover rare manuscripts on creativity that seemed to materialize from nowhere. Meanwhile, a scholar convinced that certain knowledge was beyond his reach would walk past the very books he needed, his eyes sliding over their spines as if they were invisible. Through these observations, Millicent understood that the library itself was merely a reflection of each seeker's beliefs about what they could access. The books hadn't changed, only the beliefs that allowed or prevented their discovery. Your beliefs stand as silent sentinels at the gateway of possibility. Like invisible guardians, they determine which doors you can see and which remain hidden from view. Every experience you attract or repel, every opportunity you recognize or miss, every version of yourself you can imagine or cannot conceive, all are filtered through the lens of what you believe is possible. These belief guardians work tirelessly, sorting through the infinite possibilities of the universe, allowing through only those that match your deepest convictions. When you believe something is impossible, that guardian closes and locks the door to that possibility. When you believe something is inevitable, that guardian opens the way and illuminates the path. Leopold, a humble keymaker, discovered this truth through his craft. In his small workshop, he forged keys of every shape and size, yet he noticed something extraordinary. Each key would only work for those who truly believed it would open their chosen door. A perfectly cut key would fail in the hands of a doubter, while a seemingly imperfect one would work flawlessly for someone filled with certainty. Through countless such experiences, Leopold realized that belief was the true key. His metalwork merely provided a physical focus for the real power that resided within each person's convictions. The Guardian Transformation Ceremony. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Take 3 pieces of paper and write down 3 limiting beliefs that have been guarding against your dreams. Light a candle or create a sacred atmosphere that feels meaningful to you. One by one, release these old beliefs through burning them in the candle flame or burying them in the earth, symbolizing their return to the elements. Then, on 3 new pieces of paper, write 3 new empowering beliefs that align with your highest vision. Keep these sacred statements where you can see them and speak them aloud each morning as you plant these new seeds of truth in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Chapter 17, The Dance of Duality. In the soft light of dawn, Arabella moved through her dance studio, observing her students as they practiced their movements. Through years of instruction, she had discovered a profound truth. The most exquisite performances emerged not from perfection, but from the delicate interplay of opposing forces. As her dancers learned to embrace both tension and release, strength and surrender, they transformed mechanical movements into living art. Life itself moves to this rhythm of contrast. Each experience you encounter is part of an eternal dance between opposing forces, creating the rich tapestry of your existence. Just as shadow gives depth to light, challenges give meaning to triumph. What appears as an obstacle reveals itself as opportunity. What feels like loss opens the door to unexpected gain. These contrasts serve as the very fuel of your expansion. When you resist the shadow aspects of life, trying to live only in perpetual sunlight, you deny yourself the full spectrum of growth and understanding that your soul came here to experience. Every contrast you encounter invites you to expand beyond your current limitations, to discover new depths of wisdom, and to express more fully the infinite potential within you. Jasper, a painter in a distant village, discovered this truth through his art. For years he had worked only with bright, cheerful colors, avoiding darker shades that reminded him of difficult times. His paintings, though pleasant, lacked depth and failed to move those who viewed them. One day, as he watched storm clouds gather against a brilliant sunset, he understood. True beauty emerged from the meeting of opposites. When he began incorporating deep shadows alongside bright highlights, combining complementary colors that seemed to clash at first, his paintings came alive with an energy that touched souls and awakened hearts. Like Jasper's canvas, your life becomes richer and more meaningful when you embrace all of its contrasts. Each challenge you face is not a mistake in the cosmic plan, but a carefully chosen color that adds depth and dimension to your soul's masterpiece. The times of struggle serve to heighten your appreciation of ease. Moments of solitude deepen your experience of connection. Periods of uncertainty make clarity all the more precious. Sacred practice. Choose a quiet moment and bring to mind one challenge currently present in your life. Take a fresh piece of paper and write a letter to this challenge as if it were a wise teacher who has appeared specifically for your growth. Begin with "Dear Teacher," and inquire about the gifts hidden within this experience. Ask what expansions of consciousness it offers, what strengths it is developing within you, what deeper wisdom it reveals. After writing, close your eyes and meditate for several minutes on how this contrast is actively serving your evolution, knowing that within every shadow lies a seed of light waiting to bloom. Chapter 18, The Magnetism of Being. In a small village among rolling hills, Prudence tended her inn with loving care. As seasons passed, she noticed an extraordinary pattern emerging. On mornings when her heart felt light and her spirit joyful, her establishment filled with travelers bearing bright smiles and tales of adventure. Yet on days when weariness settled in her bones, only tired wanderers sought refuge beneath her roof. Through this dance of synchronicity, she discovered that her inner state acted as an invisible beacon, drawing to her precisely those who resonated with her own frequency. Your state of being operates as a powerful magnetic force in the universe. Like a radio tower broadcasting without cease, your consciousness transmits signals that attract matching experiences into your field of awareness. This is not mere coincidence, but the operation of an exact universal law. Like attracts like, consciousness draws its mirror, and your inner world manifests as your outer reality. When you understand this principle, you recognize that changing your circumstances begins not with manipulating external conditions, but with shifting your internal state. The universe responds not to what you want, but to what you are, making your state of being the foundation of all manifestation. Mortimer, a gifted violinist, discovered this truth through his performances. Night after night, he observed that his audiences seemed mysteriously curated to match his emotional state while playing. When his heart soared with joy, the concert hall filled with those who came to celebrate. When melancholy colored his notes, he drew those seeking solace in shared sadness. Through this phenomenon, he learned that his inner music called forth its own perfect audience. Like Mortimer, you are constantly performing the symphony of your consciousness. Every thought, every feeling, every state of being you embody sends ripples through the cosmic field, attracting experiences that harmonize with your inner song. Your life circumstances are not random events, but the perfect reflection of the music you play within. Sacred practice. Select one desired state of being that you wish to magnetize into your experience, perhaps abundance, love, or serenity. Each morning, create 15 minutes of sacred time for embodying this state. Begin with deep breaths that align with your chosen frequency. Visualize yourself radiating this quality from every cell. Move your body in ways that express this state physically. As you go about your day, maintain awareness of this magnetic field you're generating, noting in a small journal the experiences, people, and circumstances that are drawn to match your inner broadcast. Chapter 19, The Portal of Visualization. In a timeless village known for its master craftsmen, Cornelius created windows unlike any other. His glass, when installed, revealed not the world outside, but visions of the observer's deepest longings made manifest. Those who gazed through his panes witnessed themselves living their most cherished dreams, experiencing futures so vivid they could feel them in their bones. Through Cornelius's enchanted windows, a simple act of looking became a gateway between what was and what could be. The visions weren't mere reflections. They were portals into parallel dimensions where desires had already bloomed into reality. This sacred truth lies at the heart of conscious creation. Visualization is not mere daydreaming, but an act of stepping through dimensional doorways. When you engage your imagination with focused intention, you traverse the bridge between potential and manifestation. Each detailed image you hold in your mind creates a template in the quantum field, a blueprint that the universe uses to orchestrate physical reality. The power lies not in casual wishing, but in the art of total sensory immersion. When you can see, hear, feel, taste, and touch your desire within your mind's eye, you collapse the illusion of time and space. In these moments of focused imagination, you're not merely picturing a future possibility, you're experiencing it now, making it real in the only moment that exists. In another part of the village lived Agatha, whose needle and thread worked miracles of a different kind. She discovered that any garment she could visualize with perfect clarity, down to the last stitch and button, would mysteriously appear in her wardrobe. Through this gift, she learned that detailed imagination acts as a cosmic loom, weaving the threads of possibility into tangible form. Like Agatha, you possess this same creative power. The universe responds not to vague hopes but to crystal-clear visions held with unwavering focus. Your imagination is the sacred needle that stitches your desires into the fabric of reality. Sacred practice. Create a daily portal meditation ritual. Set aside 20 minutes in a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Choose one specific desire and begin to build it in your mind with exquisite detail. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures, smell the aromas, taste the flavors of your desired experience. Let every sense participate in making this vision real. Imagine stepping through an ethereal doorway into this reality, allowing yourself to fully inhabit this experience as if it were happening now. This is not pretending. It is practicing the art of dimensional shifting, allowing your focused imagination to draw your desire from the realm of potential into physical manifestation. Chapter 20. The Threshold of Mastery. In a valley where ancient wisdom still whispers through the morning mist, Reginald crafted objects of such beauty that they seemed to emerge not from his hands, but from the heart of creation itself. After decades of dedicated practice, he discovered that his greatest works appeared when he ceased striving and surrendered to the flow of pure inspiration. His workshop became a temple where effort dissolved into grace, and creation emerged as naturally as flowers bloom in spring. Through years of devoted practice, you have arrived at this same sacred threshold. The principles that once felt like distant stars now pulse within your being. You've learned to recognize the subtle language of synchronicity, to feel the magnetic power of focused intention, and to dance with the cosmic currents of manifestation. This gateway marks your transition from seeker to knower, from student to master of conscious creation. Beyond this threshold lies a realm where creation becomes effortless, not because the work disappears, but because you have learned to move in harmony with universal forces. Like a master sailor who reads the winds without thought, you have developed the inner senses that allow you to navigate the seas of possibility with natural grace. In a garden touched by morning light, Constance moved among her plants with the fluid grace of one who had transcended technique to touch the essence of her craft. She no longer needed to consult books or measure soil conditions. Her hands knew the language of leaves, and her heart understood the songs of seeds. Through years of patient tending, she had developed an intuitive wisdom that guided her actions without effort or doubt. Like Constance, you have cultivated the inner garden of your consciousness until wisdom flows naturally through your being. The seeds of intention you plant now take root with greater ease, nourished by your deepened understanding of universal laws. You stand ready to step into the garden of mastery, where creation flows through you as naturally as breath. Sacred practice. Create your threshold ceremony in a space that feels sacred to you. Place a doorway or archway, it can be physical or symbolic, where you will perform this ritual of transition. Stand before this gateway and speak aloud your gratitude for the wisdom you have gained. State your intention for how you will use your creative powers in service of your highest good and the good of all. Then, with conscious awareness, step through the threshold while declaring, "I embrace my mastery as a conscious creator. I step forward into greater wisdom, deeper understanding, and more graceful manifestation." Complete the ceremony by sitting in quiet meditation, allowing the energy of this transition to settle into your being. Part 3. Mastering the Cosmic Symphony. Chapter 21. The Master's Perspective. From the highest peak in the ancient mountains, Octavius stood breathless, not from the climb, but from the revelation that unfolded before him. As his gaze swept across the vast landscape below, he saw how every treacherous pass, every seeming detour, Every moment when he thought he had lost his way had been perfectly positioned to lead him to this precise point of understanding. The path that had seemed random and challenging from below now revealed itself as an exquisite orchestration when viewed from above. You now stand at a similar vantage point in your journey of consciousness. From this elevated perspective, the wisdom of every experience that has shaped your path becomes clear. What once appeared as obstacles now reveal themselves as stepping stones, each one precisely placed to strengthen your spirit and expand your understanding. Every relationship, every apparent setback, every triumph has been a sacred thread in the tapestry of your awakening. In the grand design of your journey, there have been no mistakes, no wrong turns, only perfectly orchestrated moments leading you to this recognition of your creative power. Each challenge has carved deeper wisdom into your being. Each joy has illuminated new possibilities, and each struggle has strengthened your connection to the divine force that flows through you. In a sunlit studio filled with the quiet wisdom of ages, Ophelia stepped back from her life's work, a vast tapestry that had taken years to weave. As she gazed at the intricate patterns before her, tears of understanding filled her eyes. The dark threads she had once considered mistakes, the complicated knots she had struggled to untie, the patterns that had seemed discordant as she worked them, all had contributed to a masterpiece of breathtaking beauty. Only through the exact sequence of her experiences could such magnificence have emerged. Like Ophelia, you now see your life's journey with new eyes. Every experience, every choice, every moment has been essential in weaving the magnificent tapestry of who you have become. The wisdom you now embody could only have emerged through the precise pattern of your unique journey. Sacred practice. Create your master's review by finding a quiet space where you can reflect deeply. Take 3 experiences that once appeared as challenges in your life. For each one, write how it strengthened you, what wisdom it revealed, and what gifts it brought that could have come no other way. Express your gratitude for the perfect orchestration of these experiences in shaping who you have become. Let this review deepen your trust in the divine intelligence that guides your path. Chapter 22. The Infinite Self. In the silence of a moonlit observatory, Maximilian adjusted his telescope toward the distant stars. As he peered through the lens, his breath caught in his throat. Instead of celestial bodies, he saw countless versions of himself, each one living a different life, making different choices, expressing different aspects of infinite potential. In one reality, he conducted symphonies. In another, he healed the sick. In yet another, he taught ancient wisdom to eager students. Each version was simultaneously him, and yet more than him, revealing that his true identity extended far beyond the boundaries of his current existence. You too are discovering that your being extends infinitely beyond the limited identity you have known. Like ripples in an eternal ocean, your consciousness flows through countless dimensions, expressing itself in infinite ways. What you perceive as your personality, your abilities, and your limitations are merely one note in a grand symphony that is your total self. In every moment, parallel versions of you are living different possibilities, making different choices, and experiencing different realities. These are not separate from you, but are aspects of your greater being, each one holding wisdom, abilities, and experiences that you can access when you expand your awareness beyond the boundaries of your current identity. In her workshop filled with mirrors of all shapes and sizes, Isadora crafted a looking glass unlike any other. As she gazed into its depths, she saw not her physical reflection, but the infinite expressions of her soul across eternity. In one reflection, she was a wise teacher, in another, a gifted healer, in another, a masterful artist. Each image revealed another facet of her infinite nature, showing her that she was both the observer witnessing these expressions and the consciousness expressing through each one. Like Isadora, you are awakening to the truth that you are not confined to one identity, one set of abilities, or one path. Your true nature is infinite consciousness, temporarily focused through the lens of your current experience but extending eternally in all directions. Every limitation you have accepted exists only within the narrow bandwidth of your current awareness, while your greater self exists in a state of unlimited potential. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and begin your infinite self-meditation. Close your eyes and visualize your consciousness expanding beyond your physical form like ripples on a cosmic ocean. Feel yourself connecting with your higher dimensional aspects, all the versions of you that exist across infinity. Ask your infinite self to share one gift or ability that you can integrate into your current reality. Remain open to receive wisdom, knowing that you are accessing a greater truth of who you really are. Chapter 23, The Creator's Tools. In the golden light of dawn, Bartholomew stood in his workshop, his weathered hands tracing the tools that lined the walls. As he touched each implement, understanding dawned in his eyes. The chisel he held was not merely metal, but pure intention given form. His hammer was attention itself, driving creation into being. His drafting table held the power of imagination, while the forge burned with the sacred fire of emotion. His skilled hands embodied the divine force of inspired action. Through this revelation, you now recognize that these same implements of creation rest within your consciousness. The universe has placed in your care the sacred tools used to shape galaxies and birth worlds. Your intention carves channels through which possibility flows. Your attention directs the force of life itself. Your imagination draws the blueprints of tomorrow. Your emotions breathe vitality into your visions, and your aligned actions bridge the gap between dreams and reality. Each morning as you awaken, you step into your own cosmic workshop. Here, in the sacred space of your consciousness, you craft experiences as magnificent as any sunrise or as intricate as any flower. The same intelligence that orchestrates the dance of planets flows through your creative endeavors. For you are both the artist and the art, the sculptor and the clay. In her sunlit studio, Genevieve worked with marble, her hands moving with practiced grace. One day, as light caught the dust of creation swirling around her, she saw that her process mirrored the universe's own artistry. Her intention selected the perfect stone. Her attention revealed the form within. Her imagination guided her vision. Her love for the work infused it with beauty, and her skilled movements brought forth the masterpiece waiting to emerge. Like Genevieve, you have discovered that your creative process echoes the cosmic dance of manifestation. The tools you once wielded as an apprentice are revealed as the very implements used to shape existence itself. You stand now as a master craftsperson in your own right, understanding that the force flowing through your creations is the same power that dreams worlds into being. Sacred practice: choose one specific desire to manifest. Begin by holding your chisel of intention, stating clearly what you wish to create. Focus your hammer of attention through 15 minutes of meditation on your chosen outcome. Use your blueprint of imagination to design every detail of your desire in vivid clarity. Ignite the forge of emotion, allowing yourself to feel the joy and gratitude of your manifestation as if it were already complete. Finally, with your master's hands, take one inspired action that moves your creation from the workshop of your mind into the physical world. Chapter 24, The Dance of Synchronicity. In the grand theater of life, Percival moved through his days with growing wonder. Each morning as he stepped onto the streets of the city, he witnessed how every person's movement, every chance encounter, every seemingly random event flowed together like dancers in a cosmic ballet. The coffee shop line that caused a slight delay led to a chance meeting with exactly the right person. The missed train resulted in an unexpected opportunity. The wrong turn guided him to a discovery he had been seeking for months. Through your own awakening to this magnificent dance, you now recognize that life itself moves with choreographed precision. Every experience, whether grand or subtle, plays its perfect part in the unfolding of your highest destiny. The universe conducts this symphony of synchronicity with exquisite timing, orchestrating encounters, opportunities, and revelations that align precisely with your deepest intentions. As your consciousness expands, you witness how synchronicities cascade around you like notes in a celestial composition. What once appeared as mere coincidence now reveals itself as the intricate choreography of cosmic intelligence responding to your inner state. Miracles flow not as rare exceptions, but as the natural rhythm of existence when you move in harmony with universal flow. In the grand concert hall, Arabella raised her baton and witnessed something extraordinary. As her orchestra played, each note seemed to find its perfect listener. The grieving found comfort, the joyful found celebration, the searching found direction, all through the same piece of music. She realized that when consciousness aligns with universal harmony, it naturally creates experiences that serve the highest good of all beings. Like Arabella, you have learned to conduct the orchestra of your reality with growing mastery. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in perfect synchronization with the cosmic symphony. Through this alignment, you create not only your own magnificent experience, but touch all those around you with the harmony of universal flow. Sacred practice. Each morning, begin your synchronicity dance by setting a clear intention to move in harmony with universal flow. Throughout your day, notice and follow the meaningful coincidences that appear. A recurring number, a timely message, an unexpected encounter. Treat each synchronicity as a dance partner, allowing it to guide your steps toward your highest good. Record these divine choreographies in a journal, witnessing how the universe orchestrates your path with perfect precision. Chapter 25. The Eternal Flame. High atop the cliffs where sea meets sky, Evangeline climbed the winding stairs of her lighthouse each evening, as generations of keepers had done before her. One night, while tending the great beacon, she discovered an ancient logbook that revealed an extraordinary truth. The flame she guarded had burned continuously for centuries, passed from keeper to keeper in an unbroken chain of light. As she stood before the eternal flame, Evangeline felt an answering warmth in her own heart, a recognition that the same divine fire that had guided ships to safety for hundreds of years also burned within her. In that moment, she understood that she was not merely keeping a lighthouse, but carrying forward an eternal flame of consciousness that connected all beings across time. Within you burns this same eternal flame, an undying spark of divine creativity that has existed since the beginning of time. This sacred fire is not something given to you, but the very essence of who you are. It is your direct connection to the infinite source of all creation, the power that shapes universes expressed through your unique form. When you recognize this eternal flame within, you no longer seek power outside yourself, for you understand that you are an embodiment of the same creative force that ignites stars and breathes life into worlds. This awareness transforms you from a seeker of light to a bearer of the eternal flame, from student to master, from observer to conscious co-creator with the universe itself. In his humble workshop, Augustine crafted candles by hand, each one unique yet carrying the same light. One evening, as he lit a candle he had made, he saw that its flame danced with the same pattern as every other flame, whether from the smallest taper or the grandest bonfire. In that moment, he understood that consciousness itself was like these flames, seemingly separate, but all expressions of the same eternal fire. Like Augustine, you now recognize that your individual consciousness is not separate from universal consciousness. The thoughts that flow through your mind, the love that beats in your heart, the creative power that shapes your reality. These are all expressions of the one eternal flame taking form through you. You are not apart from the divine fire, but are one of its countless essential expressions. Sacred practice. Create your eternal flame ritual by lighting a candle each evening. Place your hands over your heart and spend 10 minutes connecting with the eternal flame within. Feel its warmth, its power, its infinite love. Let this sacred fire illuminate your consciousness, reminding you of your true nature as a bearer of divine light. Carry this connection throughout your day, recognizing that every thought, word, and action flows from this eternal source. Chapter 26. The Cosmic Timing. In his dimly lit workshop, surrounded by the gentle ticking of countless timepieces, Cornelius discovered something extraordinary. His latest creation, a masterwork of intricate gears and delicate hands, showed not the passing hours but the perfect moments when dreams would blossom into reality. Each person who held this mystical clock saw different times, unique moments aligned precisely with their heart's deepest desires. The universe moves with an intelligence far beyond human understanding, orchestrating every moment with exquisite precision. You now grasp that divine timing is not a constraint but a blessing, a cosmic choreography that ensures each seed you plant flowers at exactly the right moment for maximum beauty and impact. Like a master conductor directing an infinite orchestra, the universe arranges circumstances, aligns energies, and positions people and opportunities in perfect sequence. Your role is not to force this divine timing, but to flow with it, understanding that what appears as delay often shields you from premature manifestation that would yield lesser fruits than those being perfectly prepared for you. Trust has become your compass, patience your greatest ally. You recognize that every dream you hold exists in a dimension beyond time, already manifested in its perfect form, waiting for the precise cosmic moment to step into physical reality. This knowing allows you to release anxiety about when and how your desires will manifest, surrendering instead to the wisdom of universal intelligence. In her enchanted garden, Beatrice noticed something magical. Her flowers refused to follow the expected seasons. Roses bloomed in winter when someone needed their beauty most, and spring bulbs emerged in autumn when their colors would bring the greatest joy. Through observing this phenomenon, she learned that nature's wisdom far exceeded her carefully planned garden schedules. Like Beatrice's garden, your life now flows in harmony with divine timing. You understand that forcing a bud to open before its time only creates a lesser flower. Instead, you trust the invisible hand that orchestrates all of creation, knowing that each desire manifests at the perfect moment, not just for you, but for all souls connected to its unfolding. Sacred practice. Create your divine timing surrender ritual by selecting one desire you've been anxiously awaiting. Light a candle and write your desire on a piece of paper. Hold it to your heart, acknowledging any impatience or anxiety you've carried. Then, speaking aloud, surrender this desire to divine timing. I release this dream to the perfect orchestration of the universe, trusting that its manifestation will occur at the precise moment that serves the highest good. Place the paper in a special box or container, symbolically entrusting it to cosmic care. Each time impatience arises, return to this moment of sacred surrender, remembering that divine timing is weaving your desire into a tapestry more beautiful than you could imagine. Chapter 27. The Legacy of Light. In a small schoolhouse among ancient oaks, Cordelia watched as generations of students passed through her classroom. One autumn morning, while reviewing old class photographs, she noticed something extraordinary. Each face in those yellowed images now shone in the world, not just as individuals, but as bearers of light who had touched countless other lives. The wisdom she had shared had not simply stopped with her students, but had multiplied exponentially, creating an endless chain of awakening that stretched far beyond her ability to trace. Your journey of transformation extends far beyond your personal experience. Like starlight traveling through the cosmos, every shift in your consciousness ripples outward, touching lives you may never meet, awakening possibilities in hearts you may never know. Each time you choose love over fear, abundance over lack, or possibility over limitation, you send waves of awakened energy through the collective consciousness of humanity. When you transcend an old belief that held you bound, you weaken that same limiting belief in the collective field of human consciousness. When you manifest a dream that seemed impossible, you expand the boundaries of what others believe they can achieve. Your personal victories become universal victories, your light becoming part of the dawn that calls humanity to remember its divine nature. High above storm-tossed waters, Nathaniel tended his lighthouse with unwavering dedication. One night he noticed something remarkable. Other lighthouse keepers began matching the brightness of his beacon, creating a network of light that illuminated the entire coastline. Through their combined radiance, ships found safe harbor even in the darkest storms, while the keepers themselves discovered renewed purpose in their sacred task. Like Nathaniel, you have become a lighthouse of consciousness. Your light shines not to draw attention to yourself, but to guide others toward their own inner radiance. Every soul who witnesses your journey, who sees you standing in your power and creating consciously, receives permission to do the same. Together, these awakened beings form a constellation of light that transforms the world through the power of conscious creation. Sacred practice. Begin each day by dedicating your manifestation work to the highest good of all beings. Spend 10 minutes in meditation, visualizing your light extending outward in all directions, touching those who are ready to awaken to their creative power. As you go about your day, consciously embody the truth of conscious creation, allowing your natural radiance to inspire others. Each evening, send love and light to those still discovering their divine nature, knowing that your consciousness supports their awakening. Live as a walking demonstration of what becomes possible when a soul remembers its true power, trusting that your light joins with others to illuminate humanity's path toward collective awakening. Chapter 28. The Art of Effortless Creation. In a sunlit studio overlooking ancient gardens, Penelope stood before her canvas, brushes laid aside. For years she had struggled to create, forcing each stroke, planning each composition. But this morning was different. As she surrendered her grip on technique and expectation, something extraordinary flowed through her. Her hands moved as if guided by an unseen force, creating images more beautiful than any she had consciously conceived. In that moment of complete release, she discovered that masterpieces emerged, not from effort, but from allowing herself to become a channel for divine creativity. Through your journey of conscious creation, you have arrived at this profound understanding. True mastery lies not in forcing manifestation through willpower, but in aligning so completely with universal flow that creation becomes effortless. Like breathing, which requires no thought or strain, your creative power now expresses most purely when you step aside and allow the infinite intelligence to work through you. In this state of graceful surrender, desires manifest not through struggle, but through natural emergence, like flowers blooming in their perfect season. You no longer push against reality to achieve your dreams, but rather open yourself as a clear channel through which the universe expresses its infinite creativity. Along the mighty river that wound through ancient valleys, Theodore guided travelers in his wooden boat. For years he had fought the currents, muscling his craft through rapids and around bends, until one day, exhausted from his struggles, he surrendered to the river's wisdom. To his amazement, the very currents he had resisted carried his boat more skillfully than his strongest efforts ever had. The river, he realized, knew the perfect path and timing. His role was simply to stay alert and adjust his craft to flow with its natural movement. Like Theodore, you have discovered that manifestation flows most powerfully when you cease struggling against the currents of life. This is not passive resignation, but the highest form of spiritual mastery, knowing when to act and when to allow, when to steer and when to float, always in harmony with the river of cosmic intelligence that carries you toward your highest good. Sacred practice. Create a daily effortless flow meditation where you spend 20 minutes sitting quietly, breathing naturally, and allowing desires and inspirations to arise without forcing them. Notice what emerges in this space of receptive awareness and follow any intuitive prompts with gentle, non-resistant action. Trust that in this state of allowance, the universe can work through you with perfect wisdom and timing. Chapter 29. The Return to Wholeness. In a time beyond memory, Reginald set forth from his humble cottage, carrying only a worn map and an ancient prophecy speaking of a treasure that would grant infinite abundance to its finder. Through scorching deserts and frozen peaks, across stormy seas, and through mystical forests he journeyed for 7 years. He studied with sages, deciphered cryptic texts, and followed countless leads, each one bringing him closer, yet somehow never quite reaching his goal. When at last his resources were exhausted and his spirit weary, Reginald returned home. As he tended his long-neglected garden, his spade struck something solid. There, beneath the soil he had walked upon every day before his departure, lay the very treasure he had circled the globe seeking. In that moment, he understood that his journey was not in vain. It had given him the eyes to recognize what was always present. You now stand at this sacred point of return, understanding that your spiritual journey has led you back to yourself. Like a circle completing its perfect arc, you arrive exactly where you began, but with vision transformed by wisdom. The truth you sought through countless teachings, practices, and experiences was never actually distant or separate from you. It was simply waiting for you to develop the awareness to recognize your own divine nature, perfect, whole, and complete from the very beginning. In her quiet workshop, Millicent devoted decades to restoring ancient artifacts. With infinite patience and delicate precision, she removed layers of tarnish, dust, and apparent damage from precious objects. One day, as she cleaned a particularly old piece, she discovered that beneath the surface there was no damage at all, only the pristine beauty of its original form, temporarily hidden, but never actually harmed. Like Millicent, You have not been creating something new or fixing what was broken. Rather, you have been engaged in the sacred work of remembering, gently removing the layers of limiting beliefs and false identities that obscured your eternal nature. The divine being you are has never been damaged or diminished, only temporarily forgotten beneath the dust of human experience. Sacred practice. Create a return to wholeness ceremony by writing a letter to yourself celebrating the magnificent being you have always been. Acknowledge your eternal perfection and welcome yourself home to the truth of your divine nature. Read this letter in a sacred space, perhaps with a candle lit, as a formal recognition of your return to the awareness of your complete and perfect self. Chapter 30. The Eternal Beginning. In her final days as a master keymaker, Victoria sat at her weathered workbench, her skilled hands moving with practiced precision over her ultimate creation. Unlike the countless keys she had crafted before, this one would open no physical lock. As she worked the sacred metals, infusing them with decades of wisdom, she understood that this key was different. It was a bridge between what had been and what was yet to come. When the key was complete, it shimmered with an otherworldly light. Those who held it discovered that it unlocked not doors, but dimensions of possibility within themselves they had never imagined existed. Victoria smiled, knowing that her greatest work was not an ending at all, but a gateway to infinite new beginnings. You now stand at this sacred threshold, holding the key to realms of creation yet unexplored. The wisdom you have gathered is not a final destination, but a foundation for even greater adventures in consciousness. As you step into your role as a conscious co-creator with the universe, you understand that mastery is not a fixed point, but an ever-expanding spiral of awakening. Edmund had delivered countless graduation speeches throughout his career, each time feeling something was missing in the traditional congratulatory messages. On the day of his final address, as he looked out at the sea of expectant faces, he suddenly understood. This was not an ending to celebrate, but a commencement, a beginning of the real journey of applying wisdom in service to the world. His voice filled with newfound purpose as he spoke not of past achievements, but of future possibilities, not of completion, but of continuation. The graduates before him were not finishing their education, but stepping into their role as teachers, each in their own unique way. Like Edmund, you now recognize that this moment of mastery is actually a commencement. You graduate not to retire from the path, but to begin sharing your wisdom in service to the collective awakening. Your journey continues, expanding into dimensions of possibility that will use your gifts in ways you have yet to imagine. Sacred practice. Create an eternal beginning ritual by choosing a sacred space and time. Light a candle representing the eternal flame of creation within you. Write your intentions for how you will use your mastery in service to your highest vision and the awakening of all beings. Stand before a mirror and declare your commitment to step forward as a conscious co-creator with the universe. Close by, expressing gratitude for all that has brought you to this threshold and all that awaits beyond it. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. You came to these chapters seeking answers and discovered something far more precious. You found yourself, not as the limited being you thought you were, but as the magnificent creator you have always been. The magic you sought in these ancient teachings was never separate from you, but was the very essence of your being, temporarily forgotten, but now remembered and reclaimed. You are the magic you were seeking, the conscious creator, the divine artist, the cosmic dancer, who shapes reality through the power of aligned consciousness. The universe has been waiting not for you to find some external treasure, but for you to recognize the treasure that you are, to remember your true nature as a being of infinite creative potential. Now you understand that every moment offers a fresh canvas for your divine artistry. Every breath brings new opportunities to co-create with cosmic intelligence, and every day is an invitation to dance more gracefully with the magic that flows through you. The journey continues, but now you walk as one who knows their true identity, not as a seeker of power, but as a bearer of the eternal flame, not as a student of creation, but as creation itself becoming conscious of its own magnificent nature. Go forth and create, for the universe celebrates your awakening with breathless anticipation, eagerly awaiting the magnificent masterpieces you will bring into being through the divine magic of your remembering. Each thought you think, each intention you set, each dream you dare to manifest, these are the brushstrokes of consciousness painting upon the infinite canvas of possibility. The cosmic forces dance in harmony with your newfound awareness, ready to transform your deepest visions into living reality through the sacred alchemy of aligned creation. If these reflections resonate, I invite you to stay connected, not merely through clicks, but through intention. Each post, each gathering here, is a living current in the river of awakening. Subscribe if you feel called, and let's journey further into the unseen realms that are ready to be known. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.